So first of all, I wanted to get medical care because I knew how severe pain I was having and how I was worsening. On 9/11, all I could think about is getting any copies that I could to show and confirm what I knew in my heart. Next thing I started to do was telling everybody. I wrote to every senator in Ottawa. Every senator, sent them information about being refused medical care, my records disappearing. I wrote from the Prime Minister all the way down. I wrote to the George Smitherman, who said we only fund hospitals. I wrote to David Kaplan, who said you have to contact the boards of the hospitals, but refused to give me their names. I wrote to Queen Elizabeth in England, and I said that this is happening to me, a Canadian subject. And I got a letter from her secretary saying that I have to contact, was saying the Prime Minister or something like that. I then wrote her again, and I said I did do that, and then I didn't get an answer back. I started writing people in the United States. I wrote Geraldo, I faxed, I sent, I mailed. But I'm under camera surveillance. Every letter I was doing, they knew I was doing it, preparing it. Stamps I bought, stamps, letters, and everything was never. I went down to Front Street in Toronto, and I mailed 22 letters from Front Street all the way up to, I think it was Finch, and one in every mailbox, and nobody received them. Nobody received them. And then I started writing to all the well-known people in the United States. Anybody Nancy Grace, anybody. I then found that when I had their addresses written, they were being changed. Martin Luther King, I had an address on King Street changed in my book. They were using ink eradicator. Then I found out that they were fading my pages. I could type something and it would be faded the next day. I found that my kettle was unplugged. They were using something electrical. I kept my kettle plugged in all the time. So overnight, something electric, and these pages could be. I then found that on my computer, everything was being changed on the computer. No matter what I put there, I could think that I had something, and all of a sudden I discovered that it wasn't what I had when I brought it up and looked at it, or it was all changed. I found the College of Medical Technologists. I sent her name was she's a lawyer, and 3 lawyers told me I'll never get help. Remember, I delivered letters to her telling her about what I'd found. This doctor I never met, this one denying, this one admitting, and she actually had my letters retyped. I got a hold of some copies, and my originals were not as I sent her, not my typing format, and not done on my typewriter, and that's what she had. She was changing things. I advised her that 5 sets of my OHIP records were all changed. No matter who I contacted, nobody ever received anybody outside of Canada that I know of. And the Cleveland Heart Hospital to tell me in detail what's wrong with my heart and then deny it to me. And I never even received a statement from them. I never saw a cardiologist the whole time I was in Cleveland Heart Hospital. And, sorry. No matter who I contacted, and then I found all my notebooks. This is how I was able to prove. I started finding that doctors' names in these I never saw. I never met this. Psychiatrists they were now putting in. Then they were putting in tests that I had. But nothing was on my notebooks about appointments, and I'm very thorough. And in the first set of OHIP records, I copied out 17 pages out of the 55 pages. Me dying of my heart, and I got 17 pages being sent for use as lab work. And then I found on the other sets, the doctors' names weren't there, no lab work on that first set. So I told this Tina Langwas, the lawyer at College of Medical Technologists, when I asked her to investigate, were the tests being done properly, that they could be denying me? And the 17 pages I gave her a copy of, and mine were stolen. They were put back 3 months later. All the dates all mixed up, everything else, some dates used all over at the same date. She did that? She even denied that she got this and that. And she told me there was only 2 pages of lab work. And when I gave her a copy of the my OHIP records up to the year 2007, when I had 17 pages up to the year 2004, and I says, how come there's no lab work from when I had my gangrenous appendix out? You have no lab work from January to May of 2002. How come? And that's when all this, she took away my 17 pages I then told her about. I was having doctors saying they did tests, cardiologists perjuring themselves, denying what was already established. And my notes were all pages torn out of everything. And even handwriting that looked similar to mine, only I would know. Make me look illiterate, changing, taken out with ink eradicator, and changed. And I was finding, to write today, when I have letters, I have to look at every single letter to see if it's the one that I typed. And nobody would know this except me. and I'm going to be dead. That's why I'm trying to survive each time. Someone has got to look at these. Someone is going to talk to me and hear how I've been legally murdered. All my tests and everything are being changed. They can all disappear from the hospitals. Sunnybrook had all these tests with blank tops, and they were being sent to doctors and hospitals when I arrived there so that all the tests would be exactly the same. Then I got a printer to confirm my tests had the side of the pages taken off. He said split down and new information put on right side of the pages. My OHIP records had changed. Once I wrote on all my OHIP records on the left side about comments, the right side was all changed so that my left side didn't agree with the right side, so they took the whole set off me. This is what I've been going. The amount of work that I've done, the amount of people that I contacted, everybody all through Ottawa, all our government offices, who not one person ever tell me about it. Not one person in the government ever said, let me help you. All agencies were turning me away. It was so disheartening to make an appointment, sit for an hour, and then to have someone in an agency, well, like Dorothy Hay, and then an hour, well, I'm leaving now, good luck to you. He wouldn't even let me use the phone. And how could this be happening? All I could do was survive no matter what they threw at me, survive it. Do you know how hard it is to sit still with a heart attack going on, knowing that you can't survive one more minute of pain? And then God would help me. He made me go unconscious. And I'd come to a few minutes later and thank him. I always thanked him for letting me survive. And then I found that if I touched anything in my apartment, food, drink, anywhere, an oil-like substance, and I would be 20 minutes later unconscious, my purse and everything gone through. I found I couldn't eat or drink anything in the last 2 years in my apartment. You don't find these things out automatically. They come to you gradually, and I have to prove everything. I have to prove anything before I open my mouth. But in the back of my mind, I can't believe this. I won't even mention it. I'm already being put down in every trial as paranoid. I couldn't eat or drink anything, and then I was wearing gloves around my apartment. And my papers were all disappearing. I put tape on the inside of my balcony door and my apartment door. The tape was gone in the morning. Then I found a key lock on the outside of my balcony door. My latches broke on the screen door. And you'll never believe this. Ropes outside my bedroom door. I was in my large bedroom. I was doped. I knew that I fell asleep unnaturally. So just before I put a chair at the door with a vase on top that would teeter. I'm really desperate to keep my devil away from me, finding needle marks on my arms all the time. And then I woke up. That was the only time I ever woke up from a drug condition. Some loud noise to my left, and I had the impression was someone there. But I looked over to the door, and the chair and the vase was still there, and then I was unconscious. In the morning, I got up, and all the latches were removed off my bedroom window. There was no latches anywhere, and the screen was damaged. How are they coming in the window on the 9th floor? They had ropes in there coming in my window, and I had one witness who saw the ropes being lowered one day.